Hey guys, it's Kaniak, and today I want to show you guys some improvements I made to my advanced oil processing. Right now we are at the Forward Observatory. We still have to go to our oil district. Now let's see. Do I have? Yeah, I have a train in my. I have a train in my pocket. Good. Let's fuel her up. There we go. Get some rocket fuel here. Let's get in the train and let's go to the oil districts. Or I can show you guys what I built. Main oil, let's go. This is only gonna be a small trip by train through my humble starter base on Novice. We'll be right there. We're entering the oil district now. There we go. So we have arrived. Now let's have a look on our map. This is my oil district, and it's probably my coolest place in my base. So let's talk about a little bit about advanced oil processing. In the game, you mainly need petroleum gas, but you do need some heavy oil and light oil. Primarily for the heavy oil, primarily for the lubrication and lubrication for the electrical engines. Now, the problem with advanced oil processing is that if any of your other oils, like you're always going to need petroleum gas, but as soon as your heavy oil or your light oil are full, your advanced oil processing will stop. So now to solve this is pretty straightforward. You basically just if your heavy oil is starting to get full, then you turn your heavy oil into light oil, and if your light oil starts getting full, then you turn your light oil into petroleum gas. You're always going to need petroleum gas, so your petroleum gas is never going to be full, and that's a good way of working. Like here, what's done is let's see how I set this up. Is here is my if heavy oil is greater than 24,000 or my light oil is under 2,000, then this Z switch flips on, and when that happens, we get this heavy oil cracking to light oil starts activating. You see, if the Z is 1, it starts activating. And then I'm doing the same for the light oil to petroleum gas. Again, if it's over 24,000 or the petroleum gas is under 2,000, it's V that activates. And then here there's a lot of light oil cracking to petroleum gas. You can see it activates here briefly once in a while, like chuk, 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 chuk. And that's because this is just right now at that border there. So this is how most people do it. It's a good solution. It's pretty simple. You need like some decider combinators, and that's it. However, there's a different way of doing it, or like an additional way of doing it, which I really like. And that is to have to make solid fuel and to auto switch the recipes here. So what I have here is I have these 3 displays that show me in percentage how much I have of everything. As you can see right now, what I have most of at 99.7% is petroleum gas, and that's why right now it is my solid fuel is made by petroleum gas. But once in a while, I measure what is the fullest. I measure it every 3,000 ticks. We're at 2,000 ticks right now. When we're at 3,000 ticks, this is going to get measured again. And if any of those 3 is high, if I have more heavy oil, it's going to auto switch the recipe to heavy oil. Now I don't know if it should work right now, because this should get lower because it's being used more. So let's have a look. We should see it work. We should see it start work here in a second. There we go. The recipe is automatically being removed out of there. The lines are being flushed, and now it's doing the solid fuel from the heavy oil. And I think this is a very cool way, because if you're just only like, if you're just storing it, then this is always going to be full, and you're not creating, you know, the other oils so much. And I like to always be creating, you know, light and my heavy oil. And I need the solid fuel to make nuclear fluid for my rockets. I also have some backup power here that is fueled by a mixture of, as you can see on my lines here, I have solid fuel and rocket fuel that is mixed in between, and I have a lot of rocket fuel creation that comes from my solid fuel. So I always need solid fuel, and I think this is a cool way. So let me show you how the circuits work. First off, what happens is that I have some storage, and most of this storage is all connected except for, I think, my light oil. My light oil is, I think, too. Yeah, you can see that here. So you can go to a tank, and you can read out a tank by drawing a line here. If we put a pole down and we draw, we take a signal wire and we draw that, the red wire, and we draw that. Then you get a signal here which shows how full it is. Now, because all these tanks are connected, all these tanks will always be at the same. So if you just divide this by 250, then if it was, you know, if it was full, if it was 25,000 divided by 250, you get 100, which is 100%. So that's the basis of how you can get a percentage out of this. So in my case, you can see I'm making no changes to my heavy oil, and I'm making no changes to my petroleum gas. That's because all the storage there is connected. But my light oil is connected over two separate locations, so I divide it by 2 first. And then it just goes into the display, which is pretty straightforward. So divided by 250, you get this output, and then you have to do the decimals by divide by 10, and then you have to do behind the comma, you do that with the remainder, and then you get this nice display that shows you a percentage. You know. Okay. Once we have that, we can feed these 3 signals into a selector. And this is just, if you make no changes to your selector, all it's going to do is just, your output will be the highest signal. Now the problem with this approach is that, like, this would continuously switch over. Like every tick, there would probably be a change between whatever is the fullest. As soon as then one is selected, it's being used more, it will drop down, and then 1 tick later the other is the highest. So that doesn't work. So we need to build a memory system so that we only sample whatever is the fullest here once in a while. Now this is my memory cell here. This took a really long time to figure out how to do this. But basically, you use 2 decider combinators, where one is S is 0 and the other is S is not 0, and then you kind of feed them into each other, and then you do one of them times -1 to cancel the other one out, and then you kind of get a memory cell where if you remove the input signal, it will still show the output signal. So if I switch S to 0 for like 2 ticks and then back away from 0, that's when you saw it happen there. You saw that flash. That was 2 ticks of it activating. So I have this timer here, and let's see. So we start with a constant combinator, and then this thingy is just basically if one is under 3000 input count, which then means every tick is going to go higher, and at 3000 it loops, and then we feed that into this one. And this one does 2998, which means that for 2 ticks, S is going to be 1. And then when S is 1, that's when we're going to get that the memory cell working. And then this is done, and here's then the output signal of the memory cell, and this is then being fed into this system here. And this is then the pump system. So how this works here is that you have the signal, and that is 0 right now. That's 0 right now. Let's see which one is the output right now. The output is petroleum gas. So is that running? Yeah, this is the petroleum gas. So how this works is how did this how did this work again? Well, it's basically on a timer, and the signal can either be under 100 or over 100. When it's under 100, that's when it's flushing out. Right now, these are all active to flush. Let's see, how did I do that again? Yeah, so this gets a signal here where it says the conditions is if both of these are 0, and if this is greater than 0, you get this one here. And it's just that way it's like a latch. It's like a latch system. And when the latch flips on, the counter, so the counter only runs when R is 1, because if R is 0, then this one signal here resets. So, and R is only 0 when we have a signal on the petroleum gas, but nothing on the two other ones. And then this counter starts, and these pumps are set up to only run when they're over 100. And so when it starts counting, it will first count from 1 to 100, and that's how my flushing system works. So when it starts counting, the first 100 ticks is when the pump activates, and those 100 ticks is enough to completely flush out my lines. And when my lines are clear, then after it reaches 100, then the other pump activates, and then you just need to have a system to get rid of whatever you flushed out. So what I flushed out, first of all, it's fed back in through this pump here, and then but that is not always enough. Like, you could have a case where this keeps looping, and where it flushes out too much, and then this will fill up, and if this eventually gets full, the flushing system will stop working, and if my pipes cannot be cleaned anymore, then this doesn't work. So then we need a secondary system here that's just very simple. The first one is petroleum gas, the second one is light oil, and the last one is heavy oil. So as long as this system here doesn't back up, that means I always have enough capacity to get rid of whatever I flushed out of my pipes without the system here backing off. And that's it. Yeah, I think it looks pretty cool. It works very well. So every 3,000 ticks, which is about like 5 minutes, it activates my memory cell, and it reads whatever is the highest here. Now we can also play with it here. I have some pumps. For instance. I can switch this off, and I can switch this off. This is some extra, as you can see here. This is my primary, secondary, and tertiary oil processing, and I just switched my secondary and my tertiary off. You can see that here on my production statistics. If we go to fluid, 1 minute, and we reset that here, you can see that I switched that off, and we dropped down by a lot. So and then let's see, we wanted to have it go to light oil, so we switched this off. Now let's pump our heavy oil out. I have so let's see, this is the heavy oil out and in. We flip this on here, and some pumps activate, and the heavy oil storage will start dropping. This is because I have this flush system here. So these are all, so this is a buffer system. So this is getting filled up right now. So my main oil is draining into this buffer system right now. And the only reason I built that here is so I could play around with this for troubleshooting and stuff. So the heavy oil is being pumped out now. And we disabled all of petroleum capacity. So the light oil is at the top right now. And as you can see, it's using my light oil. And that's what I wanted. And that way, I'm always creating my solid fuel from whatever oil I have the most. So now I don't want to have this going on for too long. So we'll switch that back off, and I do need my extra capacity right now as I am creating a lot of low density structures at the moment, and you need a lot of plastic for that. And for that plastic you need petroleum gas, so I need the extra capacity of my secondary and my tertiary petroleum systems. Anyway, I thought that doing it was this way was really cool. This took me a long time. First I had a system without a memory cell, and that just didn't work very well because like every couple of seconds it was almost never running. It was just like switching recipes, and it needs some time to switch recipe because it has to flush out the lines before it can put the other fluid on there. So that wasn't working very well. So and you know, this took me like a week to figure out how on earth can I make a memory system where you can remove the input from it and the output still like remains in place. I fucked around with this. I actually don't really understand how I got it working. I'm just like canceling out signals and then using this -1, and then for some reason, and it's pretty cool because like you can, like on my I built on my backup nuclear power plant. I built even more cells, and yeah, these are all memory cells. So yeah, it's very cool because you can, like here my S signal is 5, which means that it's doing this cell right now. So these are 8 memory cells, and I can choose which one I want to write to based on what S signal I send it. So if I send it signal 5, then it's gonna be writing to 5. And also I like the kind of the way that I did this is kind of funny. Just with the displays, just like looks pretty cool, eh? I mean this is stuck at 5 right now. This is a time estimator. It will only work when this is activated. It's supposed to show the time remaining left when my backup systems kick in, but that's for another video. So yeah, let's go back into the train and let's go back to what I was doing at my forward biter observatory. Just building some stuff there. I'm gonna do some weapons testing here, so I'm gonna go straight back. Alright, see you guys.